Alright, we should be live.
Heyo.
So, between this time and last time, I did go out and I did some grinding, but more specifically, I went out and filled out the party.
And we have to name everything.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so this one was going to be Geico, right?
Yes.
G-E-I-C-O. Yeah, we wanted to do this on stream so that everybody knew that it happened. This one was Zorro.
Yep.
Let me get these out of here real fast. And you've got a terrible joke book there. How about we
Well, let's finish up your names first.
what was the frog? Alex Jones. That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not seeing us live yet on YouTube.
Well, I am showing it on my system here, so we should at least be live in that sense. I wonder if this is going to get me blacklisted, that I even have this joke here. Alright, you had...
We're already on a list.
We've been on a list. We had one for the shrooms. What was that one?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan? You were excited about the shrooms, and I specifically went out and got them.
Okay. So...
R-O-G-A-N?
Yeah. I don't know if it's part of us being blacklisted or just how early it is, but here's the thing. I didn't see it on my subscriptions that we were live. I looked up your name and it didn't come up that we were live until I opened up
The
your
channel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. And I don't remember what we had here. Oh, I think I wrote them down.
Yeah, I hope so.
Let me,
Also, you put 0 instead of Zorro.
Oh, you're right. Let's see. Oh, this was Nightcore for whatever reason.
Because he's a manticore?
Yeah, that's right. You used to know somebody who tried to do the whole Nightcore music thing.
I did?
No, I did.
Oh, okay. And what was this guy?
This one was Coyote.
Oh yeah, Coyote Peterson.
Yep. And I think that's C-O-Y-O.
I do believe so. Let me look it up.
All right. And let me fix 0. Don't know why I did that. O-R-O.
Yeah, you're right.
There we go. All right. So we've got all of our names down.
All right. So,
Pushing forward on the mission objectives over here, but
so I'm going to start by saying I was pushing Ian to do the stream so I can lay out some more animal facts because they seem to have gotten at least enough interest, and some of the facts were very fascinating. So I did some research. We'll get into them in a bit, but I do want to say what I found in the research actually blew my mind even more than I already knew.
The surface level that you knew before.
Yes. And so I'm incredibly excited to get into this at some point.
Also, hopefully between last session and this session, the audio will be more in our speaking favor. Of course, I didn't properly check it out.
Did you send this out to anything?
Oh, no, I didn't. Probably should do that.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if that's maybe what brought people in last time. Because the people who follow you are... And like I said, YouTube seems to be against us.
We are definitely on a list. I mean, I've actually gotten emails about that from YouTube, so that's fun. All right, so
Also, your title isn't very exciting.
no, but what do you want from me? I didn't have the guy who usually has the fun titles here next to me to come up with anything, so.
Well, I'm just saying.
Anyways, so in the story right now, this is our first client. Clearly not thrilled that we're here. We literally became, official, like, as they say, 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. But in the meantime, I have some really bad... they're supposed to be dad jokes, but I think these are even below dad jokes, some of them. But they're animal-based. And I figure I'll have some fun before I get into the serious talk. That way it gives us time for people to show up, for us to establish the stream, for me to cry only a little bit.
Alright, I think where I'm going is off to the east.
But Ian, what do you call a thick-skinned aardvark?
I don't know. Jailbait for Twitter?
A hardvark.
I like that a lot better. Twitter artists have broken my understanding of what should be sane. But that's kind of because you remember all of the terrible Tumblr artists that would just make porn of everything?
Yeah.
They basically moved to Twitter. Tumblr kicked them out and they kind of went to Twitter.
Yeah.
Alright, let's leave the city and head out to where we're going.
So this one's going to be pretty bad, and then I have one that I actually really like. What do you call an Afghan hound left in the cold?
An Afghan hound left in the cold?
Yep. A chili dog.
This is... See, I keep wanting to think that the species in general has something to do with these jokes. And
Nope.
they don't. They don't because this is alphabetical and it needs to have that just to fit into that scheme.
Exactly.
And it throws me off every time.
But this one's actually really funny. What part of an angelfish weighs the most?
The halo?
The scales.
Okay.
See, that one's
Yeah.
kind of good. Here's another one I can see myself saying to the kids. What do Arctic foxes eat for lunch?
I'm gonna go back to the chili dog one.
Burritos.
Yeah. So, those animal facts, Quinn.
Nope, I'm gonna skip ahead to some more animal jokes. Because these are great.
Yeah, that's the word for it.
And it hurts you. And I appreciate it.
It is, yeah, it is literally causing physical reactions. Oh, so something interesting about this game, to, you know, throw off the continued animal jokes as long as I possibly can, apparently, it is still continually receiving updates.
Oh.
So, I don't know if it's still in development or if they're just continually fine-tuning it. But there are these, you see these stones with multiple things in them that I was mining before?
Yeah, yep. I know what
Well,
you're
there are these other rocks that look like space voids
Okay.
that are just like a stone. You can kind of see one off to the bottom right.
That
was
little
there.
blue thing?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's bigger than that, but those weren't there when I started playing. And I finally found out what those do. I think I was breaking them in the last session and had no idea what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently what they are is like a in-the-field heal. And they come back over time. The game, as I've mentioned before, is pretty grindy.
Yeah.
And so it was a pain to always go back and heal. And so I kind of like that it's there. But also it seems like it kind of, you know, whittled down the whole strategy aspect of it before.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so
You ready for another joke?
I guess I have to be. I've said my piece. I've stalled as long as I possibly can.
What's smarter than a talking cockroach?
Not the person who wrote this book.
A spelling bee.
Yeah. Yep. These are hurting my soul.
Who gives crocodiles presents on Christmas?
Just give over cash for this one. Who gives what?
Who gives crocodiles presents on Christmas?
No idea.
Santa Jaws.
Am I supposed to feel like my entire insides are rotting away?
At least
by
you
these
feel
jokes?
something.
What, are you gonna try to go all edgelord on me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel nothing? You're a soulless husk reading terrible jokes?
I didn't say I was soulless. I don't feel
So,
anything.
we just, I just had to show you because you were drunk and forgot about it. Your victory in Smash Brothers using Terry?
Yeah.
Tell me that's
Oh.
not Terry right
Yeah.
there.
What do foxes call rabbits?
Dinner?
Pretty close. Fast food.
All right. There we go.
Oh my god, this one's great. Holy shit, I'm actually going to remember this one. What do you call a frilled lizard?
You might want to move your mic a little bit farther out. You're actually peaking quite a bit.
Oh.
Anyways, what do you call a frilled lizard?
What do you call a frilled lizard that spits rhymes?
It's got to be something rapper.
A reptile.
Okay, yep.
That was
That's
actually
pretty
I like
okay
that
one.
Oh.
Finally one that I don't just immediately want to hit stop streaming for. Oh, that guy's kind of cool. I wonder what he's from. Kind of reminds me of, what is that? There's like a bug dragon Pokemon.
You know what would be really fascinating? If this was the beginning evolution to one of the types of bugs that go from flying to flying.
Okay, yeah, flying to grounded.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some examples. I think there's different types of beetles, maybe. I don't remember for sure.
I never knew for sure.
But I'm pretty sure that there are bugs that essentially start out fly-like and then
heal me, please.
Grow into not being fly-like.
I'm sure that's a thing. I'm not going to question you on that.
That one I'm not so confident on. I'm not getting into animal facts yet. How do
we're
honey...
also, who knows what we're competing with right now. We're middle of the week, and usually time other streamers go live.
Yeah, it's also just not our normal time. Not
That's
our normal
true.
day, I mean. It's kind of close to our normal time. What do honeybees chew?
Same thing as me right now, depression.
Bumble gum.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing as me right now. Alright, yeah, take that heal. I think that's what it does. Yeah, that was my inventory.
Why did the Irish wolfhound chase its tail?
The tail was dogging it.
It was trying to make ends meet.
Then what's terrible is that's even better than my answer. My answer was just because I had something.
Let's skip ahead again some more.
Oh, okay, so this guy wants to buy some of my traps off of me.
Why are manatees so polite?
Sure, go for it. I got nothing.
Because they know their manners.
God, these break me on a deep emotional level. I just want you to know that. These literally hurt.
So this is a wordplay. This is a good wordplay. How did the kitten become a member of the Meerkat gang?
Ooh, they didn't know he was kitten?
That's a good wordplay, though. They had no idea, they had no idea it was a meerkat.
Oh, okay. I feel like my answer was on par with being in that book.
Yeah.
So I was in there for that one.
This
Oh,
joke is
that's a ghost type.
this joke is just wrong on so many levels.
All right, go for it.
How did the octopus make the minke whale laugh?
No idea.
With 10 tickles. But they only have 8 tentacles. So that's why I'm saying it's wrong.
I like that guy. These ghost types are kind of cool looking.
What do natterjack toads drink?
I don't even know what a natterjack anything is.
Well, it's Coca-Cola.
I strongly despise everything about what this is, Quinn. Sure, you're not able to move into the next phase here?
Well, I'm gonna do a couple more.
All right.
Because this one is up your alley. You have to. This is about computers. How are Nile crocodiles and computers similar?
Nile crocodiles and I got nothing.
They both have lots of bites.
I truly hate what's going on here. Alright, what else you got?
I'm looking for some really bad ones.
Alright, there we go. There goes my water guy. Let's see. What can I level up here?
Where do river dolphins wash their faces?
Quinn, I'm not clever enough to come up with terrible puns. Just go for it.
In a river basin.
Yeah. It's about... This could have just been titled Quin Tortures Ian. You could start with that.
What did the snail say when he got on the turtle shell?
Slow down?
Whee!
Okay, well... Seriously? There's got to be an end to this, Quinn.
This is the last one.
Promise.
Yes.
Thank
and
you.
this is the one that I am going to struggle with the most because I've never heard of this animal until I found this book. Why does a Zoloichtli run in circles?
I'm sorry, what? Can you give that another attempt?
Zoloichtli? Starts with an X.
Is it similar to like the axolotl, but different?
No, I told you what animal this is. Anyway, why does it run in circles? Because it's hard to run in squares. But this animal is apparently, if I remember correctly, it's like a Mexican hound of some kind, or a Spanish hound.
No!
But they really struggle to find an animal that starts with an X besides X-ray fish.
Not okay. Okay, to finally branch off from this, what is the first topic of the animal facts that you started about last time, but we're just now going to start getting into?
Well, they are...
Turkey pig!
There's no one here live, which is sad. But
Yeah, well...
I was going to get into chimpanzees creating a religion, or starting a religion.
Right, and I think you talked about some of this last time on the stream.
No, I didn't
Not
get
this
into
one?
it on the stream. No.
Okay, it must have been right after that.
Yes. So,
Oh, Jesus, slapped my microphone.
pardon me. So, they have a new, a group of chimps have been found in the wild to be practicing a ritual-like act, in the sense.
Okay.
And this is in West Africa, and it turns out this act is
Hold
actually.
on. Our client just solved the problem with violence.
It's a fair way to solve the problem.
They tried to do the whole "we're gonna challenge you to a Pokemon battle" style thing, and she just beat the shit out of him. Don't have to worry about the superpowered animals if you drop the bodies first.
Yeah.
I just thought that was something that needed to be addressed. Also, a very loud action, so would have cut off your setup.
Gotcha. So, people, the indigenous people within West Africa actually do a very similar act as well as a ritual, which might be why it's the chimpanzees are picking up on it. But the act is...
So, hold on. There is a... I don't want to call it religious act, because maybe it's not, but... What is the term I'm looking for, where it's something that you do...
Is it ritual
consistently?
that you're looking for?
Okay, ritual. They have a ritual that is not only something that they do consistently, but similar to something that we have actual human groups doing as well, or at least similar.
Yes. Yeah, the scientists who discovered the chimpanzees said it's eerily similar to the act of the indigenous people within the area.
Okay, see, now you're telling me that, is this like a case of monkey see, monkey do?
Potentially, but the differences that are there are different. You know, it is a different scenario. So the question is, why do the monkeys choose to copy that? It just doesn't.
Yeah, 'cause quite often you would think in nature
And-
a creature would do something because there's a valid payout for it.
Yeah, the energy exerted is worth
Whatever you get from it.
Yeah, and the setup to it is different with the chimps than it is with humans, because obviously we've seen throughout many cultures humans are known to stack rocks to mean different things, right?
Yeah.
These chimps have also been known to stack rocks, and we don't know why. But the setup before the stacking of rocks that throws us off so much is that these chimps will bang on, they'll pick a specific tree, they'll go to it, they'll bang on it with sticks and throw rocks at it, and then they'll stack those rocks. You see, that beginning part is where the major difference is. Why
the banging on the tree?
Yeah. So
kind of like drums in ancient rituals. That was a very common thing. It was like
it very well could be.
It was like making a loud enough noise that everybody knew you were in the area.
The article I read on this didn't have much detail, sadly, and I think that's mostly because we might have only seen the act a couple of times and there's not much detail to give.
Okay.
Unless I wanted to read the scientific journal, which I really don't have time for, because that's probably several pages of very detailed analysis of what the scientists saw.
All right.
But I think that's fascinating that they're doing rituals.
Yeah, and that's a societal thing that comes out not even from a need.
Exactly.
Unless you take the stance of there being a spiritual being.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is going on with the spiritual side of things. Chimpanzees are also mourning their dead in a very specific way. And that just adds credence to it even more. Mourning the dead is not unusual throughout many animals within the animal kingdom, but it's how they mourn that is very interesting.
How the monkeys mourn specifically, or
how certain animals, because we'll get into some other animals that I found that mourn in interesting ways. But as a quick example, we've all heard of elephants mourning their dead young.
Yeah.
There's more to that I've discovered that I'm excited to get into, but we'll start with the chimpanzees.
All right. Well, and I know that there are I think there are forms of insects that, you didn't look this up, so don't consider this to be a hard fact.
No, and I've never heard of this one.
But insects will take corpses of other insects, and it's not necessarily mourning, but will, from the outside looking in, somebody who is an empath or empathetic,
yeah,
would look at it and say that they are putting it up, usually an animal of similar species.
Yeah, and setting up in some type of display.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And people have looked at it in two ways. Those who are empathetic are looking at it like, basically display.
Whoa! Rock shark.
Yeah. I've heard people who are, quote unquote empathetic taking that and being like, oh, they're mourning, and I don't think that. I think that because insects aren't nearly as developed as these other creatures, I think this is more like maybe territorial mourning.
I wouldn't even consider that maybe. My thought was, when you described it, was an easy way to prop up something that a predator will eat first before you.
Okay. Yeah, if the corpse still has value as food.
All three of those,
I could kind of see that.
All three of those answers, though, require forethought, which is all still very interesting.
Yeah.
Which
and once again, these are just things I've heard, all over the internet. I can't verify its validity. I haven't done any homework and looked into it. It's just things I've heard that was interesting.
There's a lot of fascinating things with spiders we can get into once I'm done with this, because I used to want to be a arachnologist, so I did a lot of research into spiders on because I was planning on trying to get what is it called, grants and stuff like that for college.
Okay.
Scholarships.
Yeah,
I was looking to get
on.
scholarships, so I was going to be writing papers to different scholarships, but I never did because I decided that field is not for me. But so the way that the chimps mourn their dead, which is very fascinating because it happens both in captivity and in the wild, which means it's an instinctual thing, not a learned thing, is that usually it starts with a either individual or group silence, which the idea of a group silence is already pretty fascinating, that they can all control themselves and in order to...
And agree to do it at the same time.
Yes, and even more so, it can sometimes last for hours at a time.
And this is with the monkeys, so they will... Chimps. They will group mourn.
Yeah.
In silence. Is there like a... get into it more, because I'm trying to build this up in my head.
So normally after the group silence, they will give distinctive vocalizations. There's actually in the article...
You mean like... Hold on. Like the eulogies people give.
I don't know if you
You can't translate it, but
yeah.
In that mindset, in that approach.
Very well, potentially. Because the article actually described the noises that are often made, and it's made often throughout different groups. So different chimpanzees will use the same sound.
Similar sounds.
To mourn the dead. After this group silence or individual silence. Which is already pretty interesting.
I just love the idea of, okay, I'm going to call it monkey, I almost did. So, chimp eulogies.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty cool.
And then after that is usually grooming the corpse. They'll groom it and then leave it.
And again, something that seemingly has no value.
No value whatsoever.
Okay.
You're just making it look good before you walk off.
Once again, possibly something they've seen people do.
Potentially, but the the grooming methods
likely,
are very different.
Yeah, less likely on the grooming thing, but I'm just wondering the potential impact that human society has had on the animal kingdom.
Yeah, and so the chimpanzee thing is really fascinating with both aspects.
Especially because of the overall similarities we share.
Yes, and that's why the next thing is phenomenally more fascinating to me, because the similarities are far more extreme.
So we're still on chimps?
No, I'm moving on to now African elephants, and I've found out today that they also practice in ritualistic, spiritual, religious-like actions.
Okay.
Which I've never heard of this. And what blows my mind is that it's actually tied to the moon. Elephants can recognize the moon and recognize that it actually it plays a part in the cycle.
In what cycle?
In nature. I don't know. I can't confirm if they know exactly what the moon does, but they know it's important.
Oh, this ice is messed up.
They obviously know it's important to
This
nature.
ice is actually a maze. I can go in some places and not others.
Oh, that's really annoying.
Well, it kind of reminds me of, in the original Pokemon, there was a gym that did that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's where the influence comes from. Anyways, I'm talking about the game mechanics again. You're going on about animals.
So listen to this fascination. Ronald K. Siegel is the scientist who discovered all this.
Okay.
Since the article gave him credit, I wanted to give him credit. And so the quote from him is that elephants are aware of natural cycles as the practice moon worship, which is waving branches at the moon and engaging in ritual bathings when the moon is full.
Alright, aside from the sun, stars, and moon, are 3 of the earliest bodies man started,
Worshipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what's fascinating to me that I didn't necessarily connect that makes me wonder, and this is speculation on the most extreme level for me. What does the moon control? Like, as far as nature? Tides, the water, right?
And some creatures are able to pick up on that through, especially in case of animals living in water, but elephants are also large, and I'm wondering if this might play a factor.
Well, what's
the gravitational difference.
What's fascinating to me with that, though, is that would mean the speculation I'm going into is they do ritualistic bathings on full moons.
Okay.
If the moon
controls... Team Rocket Hideout again.
Yeah, I recognize that, actually. If the moon controls the tides in the water, and the elephants are doing rituals with water, do they understand
that the water's higher tide?
Yeah, that the moon controls the tide.
I wonder if... Well, they might not know, like, it physically controls it, but maybe this would be where the idea of it's a deity comes from, that something outside of us is controlling this.
But it's absolutely fascinating that the article I was reading, which I'm using...
elephants!
I'm using that word a lot, fascinating. Phosphate?
Yeah, it's gonna be water type, obviously.
But, there you go.
This whole cave is... that is even more, yeah. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together.
Think about that. On a full moon, the elephants can recognize that that's a full moon, and they pluck branches, and they all, in a group, wave them together in the air. That's worship, man.
How do I... Maybe I can't approach it from this angle. Oh, wait.
There you go. That's what I was thinking.
There we go.
But that's as close to worship as I can think of.
Yeah, because once again, that is a ritualistic nature or action done in response to another outside. For the chimps it was a tree. For elephants, the moon.
Yes. And the ritualistic bathing, I wish they went into more detail with. I wanted to know what is ritualistic about it, rather than just
because in order to be ritualistic, it would be similar enough.
Yeah, something would be going on. But that I don't know. But that was... Elephants worship the moon, man. That's pretty awesome.
Water whistle.
But as far as mourning the dead... I told you I was going to get into that with elephants.
Yeah, elephants mourn the dead.
Did you know that they mourn more than just their own dead?
So they mourn the dead of other creatures?
They have been found mourning the dead of rhinos, buffaloes, cows, calves, and humans.
God, okay, and it's a long-standing statement that elephants are incredibly empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And that really goes even farther with that.
You're gonna get stuck again.
Yeah. Kind of realize.
Oh wait, no, go for it.
Go forward?
Go up. Go over. You hit that one. That's got to be important. Go over, up.
God, this is everywhere. I did it.
Yeah,
but that was so crazy. I'm gonna puke. Why can we only move in 4 directions?
So
God, I love the meta jokes.
Obviously already mourning more than just their own. They recognize other animals as living beings and mourn their dead just the same that they mourn their own dead.
Yeah.
Also incredible. And with that, their mourning is shown by how they bury the dead. And they bury their dead in mud and leaves and branches and things like that.
Yeah.
But here's where we get back to the ritualistic side of things. What did ancient Egyptians do to those who died with wealth?
Buried them with their belongings?
Yes. Elephants don't have belongings, obviously. But they have been found to be buried with an abundance of food. They are giving up their food for the dead. that really implies that they expect the life of that animal to go beyond this earth.
Yeah, that they expect something happens outside of this life.
Yeah. That's really
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And I can't get over this fact that these are things that directly go against the quickest, most direct path to survival.
Yes.
Alright, so we got some rope here.
So the burying with
Weird
the food,
that I don't slide around here, though.
burying the food is by far the most exciting. Burying with food is the most exciting part of that. But they also have been known to bury them with flowers and colorful foliage. But the food thing is what...
Beautify the afterlife.
Yeah. That goes back into the grooming, though. Now that you think about it.
Yeah.
That goes back into the grooming. So now we're seeing that within multiple species besides humans. I think he's into sound. Oh, his tail's actually got the note.
I think this is an evolution of that other guy. No, the level's too low. I doubt that.
Yeah.
Unless you can have evolved forms lower in this game. I don't know.
But I think, you know, I always heard about the chimpanzees doing the religious things, the ritualistic things. I think the elephants have it stronger and more profound.
Well, and here's another thing. Both of these creatures, as far as the animal kingdom goes, are, I don't want to say hyper intelligent, but advanced intelligence.
Yes.
So I think that I've also heard something about dolphins.
That's the next one I was getting into.
All right. Well, look, we're getting into all three of the animals I know that have advanced intelligence.
Dolphins also have been found mourning their dead, but the information that we have about them is far less.
Well, they're a little harder to consistently track and follow. You know,
It's not even that.
the whole water thing.
It's not even that.
No.
The problem that we have with them is that dolphins have been found to stay with members of their pod that died for several days. They track and protect this body and actually don't allow us to get close to it.
They actually defend it.
Yes.
Okay. And is that all we have because we can't get close?
Yeah, that's all we have because we haven't seen it very often. We haven't seen such strong defensiveness of it very often.
Okay.
Because otherwise, sometimes they just sink. But also, because we can't get close to it, we can't see if there's anything else done to it, basically.
I'm really trying to get to the point where my gecko guy evolved.
Also makes it harder to understand how these animals die.
Okay.
But we have 3 mammals that are known to mourn their dead in some type of ritualistic way.
That is also interesting. Yeah, you point that out, that all of them are mammals.
Yes. I've never heard the insect one.
But
so
once again, it's unverified.
Yeah, the articles that I was looking up, that I was researching on, these are the 3 consistent ones. Consistent as in no one else mentioned anything but those.
Yeah.
But the other thing I was going to get into about elephants, going back to them. Oh, I forgot there's something about chimps too, but we'll start with the elephants.
All right.
The fact that they are, I don't want to call it evolving, but it's almost evolving.
Social evolution.
Yeah, but it's artificial evolution, which is fascinating.
For the elephants?
Yeah, for the elephants. Because it's not...
Doesn't look like there's anything that way.
They're not evolving over time through natural selection, because we are poaching them.
I'm sorry. She just dead?
I think she cold, bro.
Okay.
Oh, you're not going anywhere. So
I've done this boss fight before, but I don't remember. I only remember what the creature was. I don't remember the story setup.
So, elephants evolving.
Yeah.
Getting into that, they are evolving to have less and less tusks, smaller and smaller tusks. Reason for that is poaching and the elephants recognizing the poaching and breeding, knowing that.
So the elephants are actually doing their own, within their species.
To a small extent,
within
majority
their
of it
species,
is
selective breeding.
To a very minor amount. Majority of that is just through poaching because we're taking the biggest tusks.
Okay, yeah.
But we have recognized that females will sometimes seek out elephants with smaller tusks, which is essentially unheard of.
Yeah, because big tusks used to be the sign of
Strength,
look at me, big,
power.
strong dominance.
Yeah.
I can protect what we have. And
Which
yeah,
is
I
actually-
guess because now you're advertising that you're sought after by a stronger predator.
Which is actually also kind of interesting because they, knowing that we are a predator to them, seeking these larger tusks.
What's really shitty is that we are a predator to them and just take the tusks. That's the worst part of all of this.
Yes. But with that said, they still mourn our dead.
Once again, that level of empathy
Intense.
is beyond okay. Understanding that is like a thing that is not horribly uncommon in them blows me away because I'm not even sure I could say that about people.
There are not a majority of people.
When somebody is a result of killing something near and dear to you.
There is one case I can think of off the top of my head.
For humans?
Yes, for humans, where we didn't mourn the death of someone who killed, but what was really like mind-blowingly awesome, in a twisted kind of way awesome, is that this person had killed this family's daughter, right?
Okay.
And they went on TV. He was convicted, proven, by law proven to have killed this daughter. And the parents of this daughter went on TV with their pastor and said, as hard as this is, we forgive you. Okay, let me take care of that.
Yeah. Alright, so I am I'm getting rocked here. This thing is dropping so many of my characters. And I gotta keep my strong guy alive.
So anyway, the parents and the pastor said we forgive you, and not
Was
only
this recent?
a couple years ago.
I think I remember this.
But not only did they forgive them, they said there's an open seat for you within the church. Can you imagine
inviting them?
Yeah, can you imagine bring in your daughter's killer to the place that you worship?
Okay, hold
your
on.
sacred place.
The amount of damage I'm doing right now is pitiful. But that poison effect does more damage than I can do with any of my other characters.
That is sad.
With this plant guy. Anyway,
Too bad you can't catch it.
Yeah, it's implied that the guy that it's with owns it, sort of.
Yeah.
No, Alex Jones, you were frozen.
So,
God dang that experience.
the last animal fact I can get into, that I have written down. We can get into spiders if you want. But the last,
we just fought a spider, so I'm for that.
So the last one I have, I could not find the article I remember reading on, because it was buried due to whatever the theory is that if you give a chimpanzee a keyboard,
that anime is heck walking up here.
Yeah, you know the theory of if you give a chimpanzee a keyboard, he will eventually type out Shakespeare.
Yeah, something like that.
That had
the old monkey and typewriter thing.
Yeah, that had taken over any search results that I could find for monkeys, specifically chimpanzees, learning how to write. Now, so this is all based on memory because I could not find that article again, sadly.
Well, because everybody wants to talk about monkeys and typewriters and writing up a Shakespeare play.
Yes, that's basically what it was. From what I remember, this was a what's the word that when it's basically unreadable, you can't quite understand.
You can't translate it.
Yeah. There didn't seem to be a sense of repetition within the language that chimpanzees were writing in. And
But what if it's just like that Voyeur manuscript? We just haven't cracked the code yet.
well, the Voyeur manuscript has a pattern.
I suppose.
This, from what I remember, it didn't have a pattern, and it almost felt more like either scribbles on a paper or what could be more similarly put into like cave drawings.
Okay. Complete misdirection, and I'm going to throw this off for a second, but just because it doesn't seem to have any strict pattern, what if this monkey, this chimp, is doing hard math?
Be interesting, but there's a group of them. So it would be a group of them doing hard math.
I'm just saying, that would be wild.
It would.
Because once again, numbers could be represented by all kinds of crazy shit.
Yes. But the thing that makes me think that it was maybe more like a what's the word I'm looking for? Cave drawings, ancient cave drawings.
Yeah, okay.
Is think about it. The quote unquote words or letters or symbols you would use to describe a group would be different based on how many were in the group, what they were doing, which ones they are, and so on and so forth. It would be hard to find a repetition.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me think that it must be.
It's more abstract than a language.
Yes, it was clearly more abstract than language. It could have just been scribbles on whatever because we don't know. And from what I recall, this was only in one group that was a captive group. So they could have just been copying what they saw the zookeeper do. And I believe this was in Japan. I can't remember. That could also be part of why I haven't found the article.
Also, it could be why Japanese monkeys are smarter.
African elephants, though, man.
That is crazy though. The elephant one is my favorite so far.
But I do appreciate that chimpanzees
All praise the moon.
Are clearly within the Stone Age. They are creating tools. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to get into it with the chimpanzees doing the stacking of stones. It is the only time that we have seen chimpanzees doing something with stones, like a tool or a creation of some kind, that didn't immediately serve a purpose.
Yeah, because I remember we were both shocked a couple of years back when we heard that monkeys were developing tools.
They were creating tools.
It's one thing to find a tool and make use of it. It's another thing to say, I'm making this to serve a purpose.
Yes. The creation of it is what is mind-blowing.
Speaking of, otters do that. Otters were doing hammers long before.
Creating tools or using rocks as a tool?
Using it as a tool.
Crows do that too.
Crows are wicked smart. That's unfair, Quin. Crows are crazy smart.
Yes. Crows actually, I think it's not, maybe it's not crows.
I think I've read somewhere that crows can even, like, not just mimic, but understand a certain degree of speech.
Oh, easily, yeah. Many birds understand speech.
Well, I just know crows because that's smart.
And I think it was crows that did this, where if something was within a locked container, i.e. like a nut within a shell, they knew to fly to a certain height and drop it on specifically pavement, and it'll crack.
All right.
But that's using something that's already created. Otters using a rock to crack open the clam.
It's still
still awesome.
Nature was like, hey, we found a tool.
What's more fascinating is that chimpanzees will take a rock and a stick, make a tool out of it, because that requires ingenuity, not just thought.
Hey, Halo Master Chief, what's up?
Hey, Halo.
Just been going over some animal facts.
You missed out on some of the really cool animal facts I might go over again in a little bit if you want, because it was about African elephants.
The elephant one was probably my favorite.
Yeah, that's the one I want to revisit if he shows any interest, because that one was literally mind-blowing.
All right, to give you the quick thumbnail version, elephants are religiously
worshipping the moon.
The moon was like the big part of that, and mourning the dead of multiple species. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But,
anyways, you're going off on something else right now. Oh, okay, so that's the evolution.
Did you want to get into spiders?
Yeah, because I know you've got a long history of understanding spiders.
So there are several spider species that use ingenuity beyond just simply building a web in a logistical, almost beautiful sense. The way that they can build their webs.
Oh,
and,
okay. So you're talking about the pattern sense.
Yeah, there's more to that. What is really fascinating is a rather recent discovery, like recent as in within our timeline, or within our timeline, no, within our lives.
Hold up. Halo Master Chief, I know you're into Spider-Man. What's your thoughts on spiders, the animals? So a lot of people will still be like, oh, spiders are icky, but you know,
They
they're
like
still like Spider-Man, yeah.
And
I just wanted to throw that out there since we're on the topic of.
And the other thing I'm gonna do is I'll end the stream with more bad animal jokes.
Oh god.
But
Gonna have to put a warning up when that comes.
so within spiders, where was I? It was a more recent discovery within our lifetime, within my lifetime, since you're like twice my age.
Jesus Christ, not that bad.
No. But there's a spider in the Amazon called the decoy spider.
What is that quote of Alex Jones? Come on, hit me. Something like that.
Different ones.
Anyways,
There's the gorilla
yeah,
one.
I just got a super punch. Well, let's not get into the gorilla one. YouTube will flag us for that one.
Oh, what did he say? He said, I like the cool new suit for Spider-Man, especially the Iron Man suit.
Oh, I love the Iron Spider. But I was talking about spiders, the animals, because I knew you liked Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I was curious what your thoughts on were spiders, the animal.
But
legitimately,
yeah.
I could talk with you about the Iron Spider a bit.
Which is funny, because that's probably my least interesting Spider-Man to me.
I like it because of the tie-in of, you know, the Iron Man stuff, but
I really don't like Iron Man.
I think it slightly defeats the purpose of Spider-Man.
I really don't. That's a chocobo.
That is a straight-up chocobo. I want this.
No, I really don't like Iron Man in general, because to me, Iron Man is everything good about Batman without the skills of Batman.
Yeah, it's purely the tech side of things, but okay, I get that.
But
This thing's strong as hell too.
yeah, I really hope I get that because
It's a chocobo. It's level 10 already.
But do you want me to get into the decoy spider?
Yeah.
The decoy spider gets its name because he actually builds decoys of other bigger spiders and then hides within that bigger spider. So they'll use twigs, leaves, dirt, sand, just a whole bunch of things to actually build a creature with 2 body parts and 8 legs.
Okay.
That requires a spider to have recognition of what a spider is.
Yeah, it's that precognition that you mentioned before.
I mentioned that before?
I thought that was a word you used. Maybe I'm being dumb.
I like that you think I can use big words like precognition.
Anyways, it's the forethought.
Maybe recognition.
Maybe. It's that level of forethought.
Wait, did you say what are thoughts about the spider animal thing, or is it just something else?
Yeah, the question
Yeah,
was...
what are your thoughts on spiders as the animal? Are you scared of them? Do you like them? Are you indifferent?
Are you anti-spider?
I'm not going to judge you, but there are some people who are rather into them.
One of them currently on stream talking.
I am not like that way. I am not Tumblr and or Twitter levels of interest.
That you mean that level?
Yes.
I misunderstood entirely.
I mean in the sense that I just find them fascinating. I keep them as pets, and I used to want to study them as a job. The only reason I didn't oh, nice. The only reason I didn't continue into that as a job is the field would require, or that job field had really only 2 branches. One was pesticides, which I don't want to develop something that kills the animals I like, or the other one is field study, which can be 6 to 8 months out in the field at a time, away from family, away from civilization, away from internet access.
Which is awesome for some people, not for Quinn.
Yeah,
So before we get further into your spiders. So apparently this thing, as obvious as a chocobo as it is, fast, competitive, but when it reaches a top speed, it actually leaves a trail of static.
Hey,
That's
it's
a
Static
very-
Shock.
That's a very Pokemon thing.
Are you gonna name it Static Shock?
I should.
Get
I
rid-
was just gonna call it Chocobo, but I like Static Shock.
You're gonna get rid of Nightcore.
Yeah. Static Shock is another really fun hero because he's so inexperienced.
Yeah, Static Shock was a really fun hero, because it was a very unique idea. Not necessarily using electricity, but the idea of using what was originally a trash can lid to fly around on.
Yeah, he used it in fun and unique ways.
Yeah. Oh man, my hips are hurting. I'm old. And you're twice my age.
Yeah, let's leave it right there. You're old. Definitely.
How long has the stream been going for?
I don't know.
I've been talking for an hour straight.
Well, a good 20 minutes of that was terrible jokes that, made me contemplate ending the stream or my life, one or the other.
Well, I did have coffee. What was that? A few hours ago now, and then I had a monster right after that. So
I'm gonna buy some items, so we're gonna meet the item shop guy. You referenced like Tom Nook energy.
Yeah.
From the outside.
You know what's funny about that though? You know how Tom Nook was kind of, at least to me, he always felt.
He is racist to cats.
Oh, interesting. You know how Tom Nook always almost kind of felt manipulative?
I know a lot of people saw it that way. I didn't.
Okay, well with that in mind, and with his aggressive selling techniques in mind, I think he might have been one of the people that inspired how I sell things.
Really? You think Tom Nook as a character inspired your salesman pitch?
Sometimes, because to be honest, my sales pitch can sometimes be aggressive, but not in a pushy aggressive kind of way, but in the let me talk to you kind of way.
Yeah.
You like it or not, I will talk to you.
My favorite story of you trying to sell things is when you would actually do pull-ups with the collar, because somebody was like, "Oh, my dog's gonna snap that in no time."
Yep. Yeah. So we had collars that I was proving how strong they were by doing pull-ups with them on the shelves, and I was, 200 something pounds.
Yeah, you
holding
aren't
200
a
pounds.
massive guy in comparison, but you're not a small guy.
Yeah, holding 200 pounds is rather impressive for a collar. Your dog, I guarantee you, is not 200 pounds.
And then, of course, there's the force of you pulling yourself up.
Yeah. Another one that I really enjoyed.
Oh, geez, I was down to one of these.
I really enjoyed this one just because it was almost always successful. We kept the smallest bags of dog food on the top shelf. So look, when you think about it, little ladies are gonna have small dogs, and their food is now on the top shelf, and they can't reach it because they're little old ladies.
Yeah, was this an actual tactic you guys did to get them to ask for help?
No, this was just simply how it fit on the shelf in a logical way.
Okay, so it wasn't something terribly manipulative.
No, they actually changed how they at least some of the foods they changed in how they display it, and I really like it because they put the biggest bag next to the smallest bag, so you get the front of the bag and the face of the bag.
Okay.
And it looks really cool. Plus the size difference is really unique.
This is where we're supposed
But anyway, not meaning to get into marketing techniques with that, but sales techniques.
Yeah, and Halo did respond to your question.
No, he didn't. If you did, I haven't seen it.
Spiders are cool, but I don't like them in the house. But the spiders that I don't really mind are daddy longlegs because they don't bite.
And they're not spiders, but...
Oh! Okay, that's an interesting spider fact.
Yeah, daddy longlegs
are not...
It depends, because there's two different species that we call daddy longlegs. One is a spider, but the more common one, at least in Michigan, is not a spider.
Okay. So...
Because it has 6 legs and then 2 antennae that it feels around that people think are legs, but if you watch it, they move so sporadically.
Okay, so it's like the way that you'll see...
Like blind people walking.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's depicted with blind people hitting the sticks.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, the sales technique, because I really this is my favorite one.
Oh, I love that. Can you tell us about tyrants? No, you're not. You don't need to know about that. It's better that you just ask questions about things that you need to know about. One tried to eat us. Okay, you can have a lesson about tyrants.
Anyway, the sales technique I liked, since you got to say the one that you enjoyed that I did. We kept the small bags of dog food up on the top shelf. Little old ladies would have to come to ask for help, and I always, not always, it really depended on how they asked the person. You know, you judge it based on the person.
Yeah, it's selective marketing. You
yeah.
do things as need be.
But I always try to fit in a little comments about, oh yeah, we put it up there so we get to talk to beautiful women like you.
Okay.
Is what I would say to these old ladies. And
you are a big proponent of befriend the old people in a area.
Oh, easily. Because the old people shop the most.
Yeah, but even more than that, they're also the, you know...
They also
we
protect
joke
you
about
in Flint.
America's patriarchy, but like in the home,
yes.
America tends to be more matriarchal.
They also protect you within Flint.
This is also true.
Where, you know, if you befriend Grandma, no one's ever going to hurt you because Grandma's on your side. And
yeah.
you don't go against Grandma.
You're going to wind up in someone's house being beaten in a chair, and Granny's going to show up and drag that guy out, beat him in the back room, and then let you out. I'm so sorry about that.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I would always hit on the old ladies, and it usually resulted in a laugh. Not very often did I get no response.
Oh, geez, our orphanage is under attack.
Oh, that's wonderful. But yeah, it almost never led in a bad response because I was a bit more strategic in how I would say it, to whom I say it. But like I said, usually end in a laugh. But there's a couple ladies that would then take my arm and ask me to walk them to it. So it was a pretty good sales technique.
Okay, but seriously. Totally legit, valid advice for people trying to, if they're in a position to be selling stuff. Oh, especially if you're in person.
I can tell you that my sales technique worked really well with the store that we were in, and I don't think it would go over well, not with the customers, but with the management within places like Petco or PetSmart.
Yeah.
Because of how aggressive it was sometimes. We would get people that come in, and they would be asking me questions. I was like, oh, just let me be your personal shopper. And I would walk around the store with them, talking about the different products, handing it to them, and putting it in their cart without asking them. So then they get to the register, and they have to choose, what do I want, what do I not want. And I would really play it up. And I have to be honest, this is a little bit sleazy of me. Sometimes I would unpack the cart for them.
Okay, and so then they wouldn't notice.
So they would have to tell me, wait, no, not that one. I wasn't really feeling that one.
Yeah, that's a bit sleazy.
But you know what? It fucking worked, and I've never gotten a complaint on my sales techniques.
Which is strange, because I'd be a little sketchy about that.
It's about who
me as a buyer.
It's about who you do it to.
That sounds like one of the things that you really have to...
You have to be a people person,
and you have to have a little bit of experience in reading your customer base.
Yeah,
before you would try something
the best.
Like that.
Yeah, to try something like that and get away with it, it worked best when people came in and they were an excited young couple who says, "We just got this puppy. What do we need?" Oh,
that was probably your favorite.
Oh, anytime I saw two young people who came in excited with their little puppy that says, "I just got this puppy an hour ago. What do I need?" You know what I saw? $400 right there. Cage, food, toys, treats, pee pad stuff, potty training stuff. Because not only am I selling pee pads to them, I'm selling the attractant for the pee pads. I'm selling them the bells that hang on the door, because I'm telling them, hey, if you train your dog, you can do this. And of course, they always say, oh, we're going to train the dog, so this is awesome. And then they never do it, and they just spent $15 on bells.
Okay. The level of excitement you have about...
Kiro says hi, by the way.
Hey, Kiro.
Oh, Kiro, my bad.
Yeah. We've just been, basically this. A lot of this. But, yeah, Quin has just gone off on a huge rant. I might get him to revisit some of them on some crazy animal facts that I can't get into too much without getting into the generalization of it, but focusing primarily on chimps, elephants, and I think there was something about dolphins, but Mother Nature is, at least on a societal level, evolving before our eyes, and it is wild to see. Alright, so hopefully this guy should be getting a lot more experience. In the meantime, I want to set this as the main, because this guy's way strong for where I'm at this point. And yeah, I'm just, as we're doing this, going through, playing more of this.
Okay.
I mean, it's a Pokemon clone. There's no getting around it.
Is.
But I swear, it's got just that right level of difference that would allow them to skate by on their system as they have it.
Samurai guy.
Yeah, he's new. Okay, so his place is full of dragons which hate tyrants, and even his people find joy in hunting tyrants. That's pretty cool.
I thought they were saying that the dragons hunt tyrants.
That might have been it. I might have read into that wrong.
But man, now you got me on this whole kick about sales. I miss selling things.
Yeah, I was gonna say you legitimately have already said to me that you're looking at possibly taking up another job just so that you can be back into the
sales.
Into the selling side of things.
Because sales to me was always a game. It was fun to do. It was exciting. It was exciting to throughout the day look at my numbers, look at the average sales, and say, I need to bump this up a little bit, so I am going to work harder. Which is probably why I was a decent manager. But man, there are so many techniques I remember that you don't even recognize that are techniques. At least I didn't recognize that they were techniques until I talked about them afterwards.
The things you just kind of instinctively did. Holy cow, that experience.
And the subtle cues that you pick up on that are more like why I say it's like a game. Because you can tell when a customer comes up to the register what type of food they have, tells me what types of treats I should sell, or if I have one type of treat, how I should sell it.
Okay.
Because there would be treats that were 94 cents a bag. That's a really good price for treats, right? Because it was the store that we were in had cheaper treats like that. But if they came up and they had cheapo dog food, IAM's pedigree dog food, I can sell them these treats being like, hey, this is a really good treat for a really cheap price. Buy it because it's a cheap price.
Okay.
Or if they came up with more expensive dog food like Nutrisource or Signature or something like that, I can sell it to them being like, hey, these treats that are really cheap only have 8 ingredients. Really healthy for you. Health is then what I worry about, not the price.
Yeah.
And those are techniques.
At that point, the price is a bonus.
Yeah. And that those are the subtle cues I picked up on that I didn't realize until I no longer do the sales. Is that those subtle cues really drove how I sold.
Alright, so there's a lot of question as to why the heck these people are busting into an orphanage. You got any ideas?
They hate babies. They're mad at their own parents.
There's probably more legitimacy to that than there should be.
That they're mad at their own parents.
So what we're give a quick recap since we have some people here now of the animal facts we're going over.
You want me to just go over the elephants?
That's my favorite. We can start with those. But I mean, you had some out on a lot of stuff. So
yeah. So the most fascinating thing about elephants, the most fascinating thing we talked about is with the African elephants in particular. They actually seemingly do rituals that worship the moon. So what they'll do is they'll use their trunks to grab branches out of trees, and on a full moon night, they will wave those within the air. And then they'll do ritualistic bathing.
As if they just don't care.
Nice. No, then they'll do ritualistic bathing, which implies to me that they might even understand that the moon has ties to the tides and water. But I'm not 100% sure on that. The article I read didn't show any evidence for that. It's just my own speculation. But the fact that they, on full moons, will essentially worship the moon by putting these sticks in the air that serves no purpose whatsoever was really awesome. The other thing that African elephants did that was
just beat that guy out of existence.
likely are all these rejected Pokemon. Kind of, yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's literally a third party trying to get into the Pokemon
Pocket Monster level.
Yeah, the collectible creature game.
But it's doing a lot better than some of the other crappy ones I've seen.
Yeah, as far as like just Pokemon hacks, this has a little bit more polish than that. It doesn't quite have legitimate Pokemon polish, but you're talking about a well-established formula with a well-established company with the financing behind it that most game developers could only dream of.
Yeah.
So the fact that they made something, apparently this is the second game in the series. I recently bought the first one. I haven't even turned that on yet.
Oh, gotcha.
But the fact that they came up with something this good as a sequel, or so you're only 2 games in, and it's largely unheard of. I was talking with somebody earlier on Facebook who saw that I posted this video of the last stream. And he was talking like, man, I would just rather play Dragon Quest Monsters, which is another Pokemon-like game that I think might even be older than Pokemon. If not, they're the same general time of start. Dragon Quest, I know, goes back into like the 80s, so Dragon Quest is clearly an older title, but the collectible Pokemon-like battle thing,
yeah,
I think might not be. But it's just like, there hasn't been a new Dragon Quest Monsters. Like, I get it. You're talking about I'd love to have another Pokemon game that's more like the Pokemon game I wanted. So we can sit here and talk about things we want all day long, but this is a unique new entry into the game and into the scene, and is surprisingly good and has its own characterization. It takes it to a parts of it are serious, like we're literally saving an orphanage from being burned down, assumably, by a criminal organization. But also it gets more comical when the game gets incredibly meta and is talking about a racist dog running a shop.
Yeah. Now, I do gotta say, though, this Pokemon character that we're seeing, Outgrove...
Not a big fan of this guy. No, but it looks a lot like Heracross.
He's overcomplicated.
Yeah.
Too many shapes going on, too many different colors.
But then we have our Stinger guy down here, who I absolutely love. Like, yeah, that's a simplicity thing that is right up Pokemon's alley for an early game character.
Yep.
Also, the only Scorpion I can think of is Skorupi, so, you know, fairly unique enough.
What is this supposed to be?
Oh, I think that's like a mermaid shrimp thing. It looks kind of like a type of shrimp I've seen before.
Really fascinating.
Now there he goes. But yeah, you know, as with Pokemon, not every design is going to be an absolute winner, but they've got a couple of really decent ones.
The only thing I don't like about this one is I can't identify exactly what that is.
Yeah.
I think
Alright, so that's clearly a ghost.
And his name is Skirty. He's Skird.
But we saw some really cool ghosts earlier, too, and this one's a lot more plain.
Yes.
And then we've got our electric gecko, our water crocodile. Got Alex Jones the frog.
Yep, and Joe Rogan the mushroom.
And like, from what we have in our party, I'd say, you know, creatively speaking, the mushroom isn't terrible, but it is very, very plain.
Yes.
It's almost to the point of too simplistic.
Now, I don't know what your plan is here, Ian, but
I would like to get through this section of the game.
Yeah, I'm getting quite tired.
Unless, of course, I can walk out of here. That'll be kind of my selling point, is because I could go and do some grinding on this before we go up here, because I'm willing to bet there's going to be another boss fight.
So,
since we just had one and it kind of feels like this is building up to a story point, it seems like this would be a good place for them to throw a boss fight. So I am going to wrap it up here, and we're going to end the stream. But
how did the chicken wake up so early?
I'm just going to move over to
it. Had an alarm clock.
Thank you so much, everybody who stopped in.
Oh, this one's good. What do you get if you cross a centipede and a parrot? A walkie-talkie.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you next time. And Quinn, please no more.